Hi, welcome to my new reading vlog. It's officially September 1st. That means it's time for my reread of Emily Wilde Encyclopedia of Fairies. I'm so excited. I love going back into a book that I know I already love reading. So this is going to be an unexpectedly atmospheric read for me. I honestly always recommend this book to every and anyone because I just love this book so much. I know it's not for everyone because it's more on the slow side. I think it's considered a cozy fantasy. So that is why I consider it a perfect fall read. I did read it in summertime last year because I didn't know it was going to be like a fall book. Honestly, it looked like a summer book, but it's really more on the fall autumnal side. It's perfect to read this during like October, November, that time of the year, especially in November too, because one of the settings in here is like wintry, and I associate that with transitioning from fall to winter time. So it's also good for that type of season. But yeah, Emily Wilde Encyclopedia of Fairies is basically about this lady called Emily. She works at this university and she's writing this encyclopedia on fairies. But the fairies that she's writing about currently, they're like hidden away in these winterlands. The section that she's working on right now is like about these fairies that are hidden away. They're the higher fays. I don't think they're called high fays in this, they're called something else. But they're basically higher fays. You know those cruel fays that humans are afraid of that are like human sized, but they have the ears and different qualities on them. Yeah, so she's researching those. So she goes to this island and she meets these people who are very like afraid of the fairies that live in their land. So she's trying to discover them. You cannot see them, but you know that they're there because there's things happening that makes you know fairies are around this land, but you just cannot see them. And yeah, it was really good the first time reading it, so I want to read it again because I really love the characters in here, especially Emily. I really love Emily's personality. So yeah, I'm excited to be rereading this one. I already started reading them, 30 pages in. I love her dog as well in here. He's called Shadow, and he's like this big shadowy dog that is much more than he seems. I love when a book has like an animal companion in there. I always will love a book whenever there's an animal companion, to be honest, unless it's like you kill them off. I will hate it. Yeah, I'm one of those people that will cry if a book kills off like an animal. Like the other night I was watching Damsel and the dragon like burned this horse and I was like, oh my goodness, why did that girl send the horse out there to die? Yeah, I hate it when animals die in a book. So yeah, I basically went on a tangent there. So yeah, time to continue reading this book. And also this week, I want to start Wisteria. I think I will finish it this week because I'm going to do what I did with Foxglove and listen it to an audio, but also read along with it. It's so beautiful. Like I love how it looks so much, especially underneath it. I'm going to take off the dust jacket like I did with Foxglove and leave only this part showing because so beautiful. Foxglove and Wisteria, they're the second and third book. This one is the third one from the Belladonna series. You might have heard of it because it's very popular on Book Talk and BookTube. Belladonna is basically a book about death and this girl who can see death. If you ever was on Wattpad, there was this book called Death is My BFF. It's kind of similar to that, the concept. I was a Wattpad girly, if you didn't know. So yeah, Belladonna, when I first heard about it, I was like, I might like that because I love that book, That Is My BFF. And the concept was similar. So yeah, I will be continuing the Belladonna series by reading the last book in the trilogy, Wisteria. Wisteria, it has this dynamic between these two characters that I really like, so I'm expecting to love this one. And so far, those are just the two books I want to read this week. I don't know if I'll be reading anything else. I do tend to like to finish a book before I go on to the next one, so I might only finish two books this week. Who knows? That's usually how much I finish per week anyway. Those are my reading plans. Hi, right now it's Monday. I started this vlog yesterday, Sunday. I'm feeling so cozy right now because I have my blanket wrapped around me and like my t-shirt is very big and comfy. Oh, it's the vibes. It's here. Fall season is coming in slowly but surely. I am 77 pages into Emily's Well Encyclopedia of Fairies. I'm reading this one slowly because I already know I love it, but I just want to take it in more slower than I first read it because when I first read it, it was via audiobook and I read it like 2 times speed, but I was enjoying it. So it was still good. I did want to see the words this time because I didn't get to read it physically last time. I wanted to annotate it, so I'm taking my time annotating. I don't think I'll be finishing this one today, but maybe tomorrow. It's quite short. I was reading it, I was like, I barely was reading this, and I'm already 70 pages in. And it's pretty good. I'm enjoying it. Emily, her personality, as I say, I really love her personality because she has like a more serious tone to her, but she's also kind of humorous in like a dry way. And I don't know, I love characters like that. And I also just love her companion, her dog, Shadow. I love every interaction she has with him. He's just so big and cuddly, even though he's like a ginormous black dog that will destroy you in one bite. But I just love animals like that. I love creatures like that. And I love it when, especially fairy tale like stories, have a companion character in there, like an animal. I really love that concept. So I knew going into it last year when I read it that I was gonna love that. But I didn't know how much I would love the little romance that we have between Bumblebee and Emily. Because Bumblebee, he's very funny and very funny. Like Emily says, he does not have a sense of seriousness in him. And he really doesn't. If you like characters like that, if you like that dynamic of romance, of like a unserious character and a more serious character together, especially the lady being more serious, I think you'll like the romance in this one. But yeah, this is basically me trying to recommend this book because I love it so much and I want other people to read it. And hopefully, if you like cozy fantasies, you'll like this one because it's really good. It's perfect. And the fairies in here are dark, they're menacing, they're not nice at all, they're very cruel. This book includes footnotes. I know a lot of people hate footnotes, but I actually like footnotes, especially in books like this, fantasy books like this, where it's like surrounding a fairy tale. I think footnotes make sense. But yeah, there was like this footnote in here where it's saying that they basically don't use a concept of unseelie fae because that's a category to describe fays that are cruel and not cruel. But Emily, she's like, oh, even if we don't use unseelie because all fays can be cruel no matter what. Like even the common fays, the little small pixie-like fays, they can be just as vicious, just as cruel for no reason. So they don't use that category, and it's so true. Like you see some of the people in this village, how they are influenced by the fairies in such dark ways. And you have changelings. You have this girl who basically she's like that girl from that movie where if you tell her to do this, what was that movie called again? I was like, I think I'll put a picture here if I remember. Yeah, if you tell her to do this, she has to do it. If you tell her to slap herself, she has to slap herself. So one of the characters in here, that's what happened to her when she came back from the Fae line when she was kidnapped, but they released her back, or she escaped. Right, I guess I'm not sure exactly, but I'm loving it so far. I'm taking it slowly though because I want to annotate it, and I want to also use this as like a learning point for my own writing because I like to write stories like this. I don't really know much on fairies. I just like reading about them. I haven't really tried to study how fairy stories come about and how they're told. So I'm trying to study that too. Basically focus on the type of fairies that I like reading about, which is a dark fae. So far, those are my feelings, my thoughts on rereading this. And I think this week I want to do some like fall type of activities. Maybe I want to watch The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings because I never watched those. A fun point about me, I've never watched those, never read the books. But I was thinking about it today. I was like, maybe it's time for me to go into that world. So I think I'm going to start The Hobbit. I think you can start with The Hobbit, then go into the Lord of the Rings series because it's such a long movie. Like they're long. It's a good task to give myself for this like month. We'll see how long it will take me to watch it because I honestly don't watch movies in one go unless I'm watching it with someone else. I won't sit there an hour and 50-minute long movie and just watch it all the way through like regular people do. I would actually pause it and come back to it. And I'm thinking maybe I'll watch an anime too. I'm thinking maybe Demon Slayer, maybe. But yeah, those are like some things I want to do as well this week other than reading because I mainly only just read. I don't really like do any other activities, any other hobbies other than watching booktube and reading. It's Wednesday. A little update. I'm still reading Emily Wow. But I think I'm going to start this book called The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. It's like a cozy romance. I've been thinking about it a lot recently, so I'm going to just go and pick it up. And it seems I'm finally in the mood to read it. I did get it on Libby, the audiobook, and also the Kindle version of it, so I could like follow along reading and listen at the same time because I like doing that. It makes me focus more and not get too distracted while reading. Emily Wilde now. It's so great. I will always recommend this book as I've been saying in this video this whole time. It's just one of my favorites and I think it really fits for the season. Another one that I want to recommend for the fall to read is Half a Soul. That one was so great as well. I reread it this year, but I read it last year before. But I wasn't really focusing on it that much, so that's why I wanted to reread it because I think it was really good. It's like about this girl where a fairy took half of her soul. He was attempting to take all of her soul, but he failed because her cousin stabbed him with the scissors, which is like a key point of why the cover looks like this. But yeah, it's such a great book. I really recommend it because it's like fast paced and it has this nice romance in there. It was very whimsical. I really enjoyed that one. I think it's perfect for the fall season. I also want to recommend these two books, The Herb Witch Apprentice and The Herb Witch Princess. These two books are self-published, but I really love them. These books are like very Barbie core and very cozy. They're surrounding witches. The first one is like this girl, she discovers she's a witch, but it's during her season to get married. So she's going through this, discovering that she's a witch while also trying to hide that fact. But in the world that she's in, it's not great to be a witch because humans and witches are like going against each other because they see witches as being too powerful and evil. So yeah, she discovers that and it's like very scary for her. She's young, I think she's around 16. So it's more like a young adult novel. But I really like the second one because it's following this character. In the first one, she's basically a villain, but she gets her redemption in book 2 and it's so good. It's between her and this prince and it's so great. I highly recommend you look into it. And then another one I would recommend for fall is A Study in Drowning. I really like the atmosphere in this one. That's why I really recommend it for fall. It's perfect to read in October. I did read it in October last year. The atmosphere is like very dreary and intense. Like it has you on your toes at all points because the landscape in here it's very dangerous and at any point you could get drowned. The area it's set in, it's always being flooded, and it's also focusing on folk tales surrounding this fairy king, and you're wondering, is the fairy king real or not? Because the way they describe him, it seems like he's real, but at the same time it could be fiction because the main character too, she's always talking about her past with the fairy king, but it seems like she dreamed it up. It doesn't really seem like it's real. I highly recommend reading this one because it's just so perfect for the fall season. A Tempest of Tea I also really love because it's surrounding vampires, but it's also a haste novel. It has a really steady pace. I didn't consider it too quick or too slow. It's about this girl who has a tea shop by day and a blood house by night. At night, she has vampires come in and willing humans sell their blood to her so that she could feed it to the vampires who will buy it at any cost. And she kind of does this as a rebellion against the kingdom that she's in because she's not from that kingdom originally. She's from somewhere else. There's a little bit of a fun family aspect between her and her brother. They're not related by blood, but they basically fund each other. And I just love them together, but I also just love the world that it was set in, and I really wanted more. And the little romance that we have in there, it's like a very tame romance, but I really liked. I think it's perfect to read during fall because it has vampires. What better time to read a book about vampires than in fall season? But yeah, that was just me recommending some books I think are perfect to read during the fall season. I have so much more in mind, but I don't want to go too much on a tangent in this vlog, since this is a reading vlog, not a recommending video. But yeah, I'm gonna go on and finish Emily Wilde and start the Pumpkin Spice Cafe next. Hi, it's Saturday and time to finish up this vlog. I have read Emily Wilde and The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. Those are the two books I read this week. I did plan to start Wisteria, but unfortunately wasn't able to start at all because when I started Emily Wilde, I really enjoyed reading it so much to the point that I wanted to savor it much longer for my reread. So I ended up reading that one for the past 3 to 4 days. And it could have really been 3 days, but I had the last 100 pages on day three, and I was like, I don't want to finish it today. So I went on and did other things. I also started watching this anime too, so I got a bit sidetracked when I started the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. But my rating on those two books are for Emily Wilde, 5 stars. Once again, I rated 5 stars the first time and then 5 stars the second time. And then the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, it was a nice, fun, cozy, small town book. But like the romance in there, it kind of was rushed, so it wasn't a really high star rating for me. So I gave it 3.5 stars. I expected it to fall around that star rating anyways. But I just wanted something very expected but romantic, and that's what I really got with it. I really love how nosy the townspeople were in that book, and how the main character, she has such self thoughts about herself, but throughout the book she gets to know herself better and becomes more confident in doing things. And I like the whole point of this book was that she used to be an assistant to this guy that she found him in his office not alive, and that is what caused her to switch up her life and try not to work too hard as before, because basically her boss, he worked so much to the point that he had a heart attack, and no one even knew he passed away in his office for days. She was the one that went in there for the first time and saw that he was in there. That really got her scared and made her open up her eyes to the fact that she might be like that man, working all the time, not having time for friends and family. So that's why she went to that small town when she got the opportunity to, and basically try to change up her life. And then she meet that local farmer, and from the start they had like this instant chemistry between each other that I really like. But I mainly love the cozy pumpkin spice cafe vibes, like because she owned this cafe. I really like that vibe. And there was this one part, because he owns a farm, there's this one part where he's describing this event where they have like these tents up, and it's like a marketplace where all of the shop owners put up their tents and show what they're selling, and people buy from there and just walk around like a fall festival. I think that's what it was called. So it was very cozy and comfy to read, and I really enjoyed my two reads this week. I'm planning to read Wisteria soon tonight, so I'm gonna start it. Hopefully, get the first 100 pages through it and continue it into next week. So that's my wrap up of what I read this week, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Thank you for watching.